Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Feed the Beast Infinity Skyblock with Christoph97. So, last episode I built that big old steel factory over there, and that's all good and nice. And then I realized, in between episodes, I built something that I've needed for a long time, and I just showed you what it was. I should have made a jetpack a long freaking time ago, like way long ago. They're so useful, and being able to fly around is making my life way easier. In other news, I have been working on this nuclear power plant from Industrial Craft right here, my nuclear reactor. And it's been doing pretty good, but I want to extend it out, and I've got these reactor chambers here. But I thought instead of just plopping it down there like it is now, I want to have its own dedicated building. So what we're going to do is go over here, and we're going to build the nuclear power plant over here on the side, because I want to get away from the even number of spaces here, like the two wide doors. I just want single wide doors. That way I can actually put something in the middle of a room, because it really bugs me that I don't have a definite middle, and I'm going crazy. So we can't have that anymore. We gotta have nuclear reactor building. So it's gonna be super sweet. First off, I'm gonna talk about the reactor and how it works a little bit. I'm not going to go into terribly much of a detail. I spent all day yesterday teaching myself how this thing works, and I came up with this design to kind of, it's more of like a fire and forget type thing. You can turn it on. You don't have to worry about it overheating or exploding or anything like that. So I'll try to explain how it works here. So this is nuclear reactor from Industrial Craft 2. And first off, you can see we have 4 fuel rods, and they're all stacked like this in the middle. And then I got 4 coolant cells here, 4 advanced heat vents, and then 2 component heat vents and 2 reactor heat vents. So all of these things work together to keep the reactor stabilized so it doesn't overheat or anything. So, for example, if you put the wrong configuration in here, you can actually overheat the reactor way too quickly, and it will actually explode and destroy your whole base. So you don't want that to happen. So yeah, this is actually a setup right now, placed in this exact configuration. That will give you 50 EU per tick, and it won't overheat, and it will deplete uranium cells. Basically, I wanted a setup that could provide a little bit of power, not a lot of power, but a little bit of power. Plus, I wanted to be able to repurpose fuel rods and get plutonium, iridium, stuff like that. And it's just another step towards what I need to do. You'll notice I only have 3 columns open. To unlock more columns, you add these reactor chambers, and you put them on the sides of the nuclear reactor, and it unlocks each column here. So you can have up to 6, so you can unlock the whole thing. What's great about my design here is I can just take this and copy it 2 more times, and then I can have an output of 50 EU per tick at a very nice level. So that's what we're going to do. I don't have all these materials, but I'm going to make them. And so yeah, we're going to start out with the actual building plot and where it's going to go. We're just going to put it over by where all these chests are. So yeah, I will be right back. Sorry guys, quick break here. I realized I forgot to talk about the steel factory. So the steel factory I actually dressed up and made it look a little nicer. I branded my name on it. And I just kind of dressed it up all the way around, made it look nice. The inside I didn't really touch much because we're not really going to be in here very often. And these are completely automated now, so we don't need to worry about anything like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool building. And then I built another 32 pad over here, just for more room. I really don't need this much room, I realize, but it is nice since everything in this mod is quite big. So I'll show you here just an idea on how much steel we're getting. I've got 1,000 steel right there, so it's pretty quick. It's pretty cool. All right. A little break from the nuclear base. I'm gonna put it next to my industrial craft stuff right there, kind of off to the side of it. I am spawning monsters over there. But I wanted to take a little break and talk about the inscriber. I recently I put some crystal seeds in here, and it made some nether crystals for me. Or not nether crystals, sorry, pure Certus quartz crystal, and I needed those to make the inscriber. And so yeah, we're using the rolling machine to create all the presses we need, and basically this is going to get us started with applied energistics. Although there's a few other things in this mod pack that need it. For example, computers from Computer Craft need a logic processor, and I kind of really wanted a computer for a long time, so I definitely want to get into that. There's one other press I need to make. It's a calculation press. This one can be made with nether quartz, which I don't have, unfortunately. I can make some though pretty easily, but yeah, the rolling machine can make all of your presses, but for now I think I just need a logic press. We're gonna make that computer because I need one for the nuclear power plant. There we go. I got a computer. Right on. So now over here, I was making a little control room. We're gonna check for creepers here real quick. Okay. I was making a little control room to the reactor. The reactor is actually gonna be down kind of farther, but this is gonna be the first room you enter, and this is the control room. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then the computer is gonna be right there. So that you can control the reactor itself. It's going to be pretty cool. There's going to be a whole bunch of other components here, but for now I'm just going to kind of block these in with blocks of iron. Okay, everybody. I was building the nuclear power plant, and I decided to take a little break just because I was going a little bit crazy with how much I needed to build. There's actually a ton of resources that need to go into this. As far as building goes, and at the moment I just don't have a way to produce that. So what we're gonna do is actually focus on automation and kind of fixing everything. Some upgrades to note. In between playing before and now, I made a MFSU so that I could store all the power coming out of the nuclear plant and not just waste it. Let's go up here. I built these stairs down and over. That's gonna be like the power generator room. This room here is the actual nuclear reactor containment cell. So this little thing down here has everything. I'm gonna copy all this over later to the other side so we can make 150 EU per tick. Also, I've added these item ducts for future automation. Once every slot in here is filled, the only slots the nuclear reactor will ever need to worry about are the fuel rods. So I can take out depleted fuel rods and put in fresh ones. And that's going to become pretty important later on. So that's going to be cool that I've already set it up for automation. Up here is a little control room. And there's a little computer, and you can turn the nuclear power plant on and off. The program is extremely simple right now. I'll just go through it with you. Edit control. Okay, so it says redstone set output back to true, and then it just does an infinite loop, so it's always outputting redstone. I do believe, oh, it's still on. Okay, so I don't even need the loop. Basically all I did was just set the output on the back of the computer to true with redstone. So yeah, I don't even have to have this program running now. But the reactor control program is going to be much more in depth than just that. So you guys can look forward to something a little cooler. Let's see. Try to explain a little bit more stuff. I got a new jetpack, which is much, much better than my other jetpack. I can fly a little faster, and I don't fall as fast, so building is much easier. I just got the next tier up. I had the electrical steel jetpack, and now I have the energetic jetpack. So it's super nice to fly around. But what we're going to focus on now is a little bit more of the automation, and we're just going to go ahead and do that real quick. Alright, I got a bit of pipe. We're going to run down there, and we're going to start some automation. I did talk about crafting pipes earlier, but I may go over them again just for a minute. So yeah, we're just going to set up a little crafting bank here. Ah, I got a text message. Alright, so we got this, and I think you can actually put them next to each other and that'll work. So we'll do that. I need actually crafting pipes down here. I am back with crafting logistics pipes, and we're just going to place these right underneath these. Super nice. And I want just some basic stuff automated. Some stuff that I haven't done yet, and it kind of bugs me. So we're going to grab wood, one of those, and then also 2 of these. Okay. So first we're going to automate, in this first one, just planks. Straight up just planks. So to confirm with the crafting pipe that this table is going to craft planks, we could just right click the crafting pipe with our wrench, hit import, and boom, we're good to go. And we can do the same here. Sticks, import. Okay, so now we can break down wood into sticks, into wood into planks into sticks. So which is super nice because now instead of, let's see, I have 19 sticks. I can just click that, and now I can request 32, and the system won't even blink an eye because it can just craft what it needs to do. It'll take a second for those sticks to come. They're there. And then I can have that. It makes it a lot nicer. Okay, so now one thing we need to set up, let's see, capacitor. Okay, so this actually uses a few different things. A thermionic fabricator and an assembly table, and I don't have my assembly table automated yet. Okay, so automating the thermionic fabricator is a little more complicated than a pulverizer, simply because it doesn't automatically output items. So what you can do is you'll need a satellite pipe to input items, a crafting logistics pipe to take items out of this chest, and a item duct with a servo on it to take items out of the thermionic fabricator. So this is how it goes. Go to your crafting pipe. In your make sure you set your satellite ID. In my case, mine's 2. It has to be unique from any other satellite pipes in your system. Then set the satellite on the crafting pipe to the same one as your satellite pipe. Stick your inputs there, and then your output is going to be whatever you want, whatever electron tube you're trying to automate. So we have, in our case, 4 lapis electron tubes. And basically what's going to happen is the items are going to be put in through the satellite logistics pipe here. It's going to craft what we see. Then the item duct is going to pull the items out, put them in this chest, and then the crafting logistics pipes is just going to shoot them back into the system. So for example, now I can run to my system. I've got a stack of them, but let's just say I wanted to make some more. Another stack. Down there in my chat, it actually says it was successful. So we're getting a whole another stack of them. They take a little while to craft, but it is automatic, so it's super nice. We can have as many lapis electron tubes as we want. Okay, so now that I have the thermionic fabricator automated, we're one step closer to automating capacitors. I just need now a crafting table for signal ingots and redstone chipsets. Now redstone chipsets can only be made on my assembly table, so what I'm gonna do is actually take this whole thing and put it downstairs, and we're gonna automate it. It's gonna be fully automated. We're not gonna be able, or not gonna have to worry about anything ever. Alright, so here we go. It's going to be very similar to the thermionic fabricator, just because of the way the thing actually works. So we're just going to do it right here. I think should be fine. So yeah, we just got to find a way to run these lasers. I'm thinking we'll just use this existing kind of line here. It's kind of a band-aid fix, but for now, we don't have a an ME system, so it really doesn't matter as far as organization right now, so I'm not even worried about it. Let's go one more over and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Okay. So now I will put the chests here and here, and the tables. I didn't grab the tables, but I'm just going to put the tables on top of the chests, and then I can put the crafting pipes hooked up to those chests. Let's actually get my tables. Oh, we were destroying power infrastructure back here. There we go. Once we get applied energistics going, automation's a lot more compact than this, but it still will take quite a bit of space. So yeah, it's going to look a lot better. This is just a temporary setup for the time being. Okay, so now our crafting pipe will go here. Our satellite pipe will go here. It's odd. And then we'll just pull some logistic stuff over to here. Oh, actually, we might be able to get away with just having the satellite here. I think that should work. Let's go ahead and configure that. Number 3. This one's using number 3. And hopefully we can get the system over to here without, you know what, if we change this up and go, nope. Oh. Yeah, there we go. Go like that. Then we can just go just like that. Okay. Awesome. So now this is all hooked up. What we're going to be doing. Do I have redstone? Yes, I do. Okay. So we're going to input 1 redstone, and it's going to output 1 chest or redstone chipset. And so we can go ahead and test that. Since it takes a while for those chipsets to craft, we can just craft, like, I have plenty of redstone. I don't have a lot of power generation though at the moment, so we're just going to make like 10 of those redstone chipsets. 10. And that should be fully automated, at least redstone chipsets anyway. If we want to add more items to craft, we just have to put another crafting pipe that's tied to this satellite on that chest there. So we got that. Oh, we actually have to have that clicked. That's right. There we go. So now that we've selected redstone chipset in the assembly table, all of the lasers will power it. So this is a pretty humble setup, kind of a band-aid fix like I said earlier, but it'll look a lot nicer when we have applied energistics set up, just because that's a way better mod for storage and stuff like that. Sweet, it's working. Super cool. Let's go up to our table and just double check and make sure everything is doing it. Heck yeah, we're getting our chipsets. That's super cool. Alright, so now what we should be able to do is go capacitor, click one, and then we should be able to request a whole stack. Yep. So now, I mean, it'll take a little time, but I can request enough materials to create an entire stack of capacitors, which is going to be amazing. That makes making capacitor banks way easier and stuff like that. And not only can I access capacitors just like this, but if the system needs to craft a capacitor, I need a table for this, of course, which we should make one since now we have it working. We'll go over here. We need one of those, and one of those. The redstone chipsets do take a long time to make, so I'm not actually going to be making 64 capacitors super quickly just because I don't have a lot of lasers. But with this sideways setup, I think I can add just another layer up and it'll be fine. We might be able to move this pipe up over. In fact, let's do that now. Okay, and then I can just take these power lines and move them up and then add a whole nother layer of lasers so we can make these a little quicker. So, super awesome. So yeah, we got this last crafting table here that doesn't have anything in it, but it's gonna have capacitors. So now I can go to my system, and instead of requesting stuff for capacitors, I could just click capacitors and craft them. Awesome. I am super excited about that. That's great. So yeah, logistics pipes is really good early on for automating and stuff like that. I'm kind of reaching the midpoint in the game where I can get stuff like the ME controller and get into applied energistics. Although, with that said, I am running into quite a problem here. I need a Certus quartz wrench, and for that I need Cenarium alloy. Cenarium and wrench, Cenarium, blah blah blah, Cenarium piece. You need a molecular transformer and 1000 RF. You also need iridium, Galgadorian metal, and so yeah, I have a little ways to go, but I think it's not too far away. So this is just a real quick setup. It's nothing permanent. So, all right, cool. So we've got capacitors now. If we go capacitor bank, sweet. We can totally make capacitor banks so easy. I do this because I need a way to store energy. My current way of storing energy is not that great, and so I'm hoping with these capacitor banks it'll be a lot nicer. So yeah, it's nice I ordered all this stuff for capacitors, but we can just make them now. Capacitor banks, let's do that. Don't need capacitors. 1, 2, 3, 4. And before I leave you guys, because the end is coming up pretty soon here, I'm just going to teach you a little bit about Ender.io's capacitor banks, because they're pretty sweet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Huh? What am I missing here? Oh, capacitors. That's okay. 3 should be fine, or 2 should be fine. Okay. So capacitor banks are super cool. They store RF, just like my... Oh, that stupid rock crusher is gonna kill me. Every flippin' time I get over here, it freaking hits me for... stupid. Anyway, put your rock crusher in a good place. Maybe I should automate that. Literally the only thing I use that thing for is crushed obsidian. The only thing. Because that's the only way to get it. So maybe we'll automate that too. Just so it's out of my way. But anyway, as I was talking, capacitor banks, they store energy. We're gonna just hook it up to our system here, and it is getting about 800, 500 RF per tick, 300 dipping down. So yeah, you can see how much your system is using and not using, which is great. For example, we have a surplus of RF by 225, which is not a lot. We want a lot more. So yeah, this can hold 1,000,000 RF, super nice, and it can have a maximum input of 1000 RF per tick and a maximum output of 1000 RF per tick. But if we take this capacitor and we stack it on top, now our maximum inputs are doubled, as well as our storage capacity. So it's really cool. You can take these capacitor banks, and there's different kinds of them that hold more and have better output and stuff like that. But you can just make a huge bank of them, like a 10 by 10 by 10 of them, and it will store a ton of power and output a ton of power all at once. It's really nice for something if you're AFK for a while and it charges up. That way you have a lot of RF in the background just ready to use if you need it. So yeah, thanks guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and hit like for me. It really helps me out. If you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. Alright guys, thanks a lot. Have a good one.